In 2005, Australian scientist Dr. Barry Marshall was awarded a Nobel Prize for an experiment he did on himself back in the 80s where he drank a culture of stomach ulcer-causing bacteria. In 2014, he told the journal Nature, "I didn't really discuss it with my bosses in case they forbade me to do it, but I suspected they knew." Back then, everyone including the leading gastroenterologists thought that peptic stomach ulcers were caused by stress, spicy food, and too much stomach acid. They didn't even believe that bacteria could survive at all in the acidic environment of the stomach. But him and another doctor at the Royal Perth Hospital, his collaborator Robin Warren, had been seeing the bacteria H. pylori in the stomach of their patients with gastritis. That's an inflammation of the stomach lining and a known precursor to peptic ulcers. So they started treating some of them with antibiotics and Pepto-Bismol and had a 75% cure rate, which is really cool but not exactly a clinical trial or nothing. So in 1983, they presented their findings to the Gastroenterological Society of Australia. The letter they got back said, "Dear Mr. Marshall, we're so sorry that we couldn't accept your abstract. It was such a high standard this year. We had 67 applications and we could only accept 64. So they were in the bottom 10%. So then they tried to infect piglets with the bacteria but were unsuccessful. The bacteria didn't take and the piglets were growing so fast that at the end of 3 months he was wrestling around with 70-pound pigs trying to give him an endoscopy. Having played all the other cards in his hand, he had a coworker do a baseline endoscopy on him to make sure that he was normal and didn't have no bacteria in his stomach. So he went and drank a mix of broth and Helicobacter pylori bacteria that he had cultured from one of his patients. He knew it was treatable, but he thought it would probably take a couple months for anything to happen. But only 3 days later, he started feeling nauseous and vomitous and had super bad breath. Apparently his mom was like, "Barry, are you constipated? How come you've got such bad breath?" So he got another camera tube shoved down his throat and his stomach had been completely colonized by the bacteria. He had gastritis. When his wife noticed that he looked like shit and his breath smelled like shit too, he finally told her what was up. And she was like, "You better fix that and take some antibiotics or you're gonna be living in an apartment. Jesus, you're gonna get us sick." So he took antibiotics and got it cleared up, and over the next decade, more and more people became convinced by his findings in the follow-up studies. Thousands and thousands of people now have been treated for peptic stomach ulcers, which can lead to cancer with antibiotics. And there was a billion-dollar industry back in the previous treatment. All in all, about 14 people have been awarded Nobel Prizes for self-experiments.